Welcome back on YouTube. We are working on the yeah, we're working on the Orchestral Synthwave song, and I'm adding in some impacts on our sort of dark cyberpunky bit over here. And I've added like an impact sample, and I have it hitting at the same time as the kick. You can see it over here. And it sounds pretty silly right now because it doesn't have something on the snare to kind of balance it out, and we'll get to that. I just need to sort of make it sound more like it's a part of our overall sound. And I'm sending all the effects over to this FX group channel, and it has nothing on it. It doesn't even like change the volume. I'm doing that with the individual channels, and the reason I'm doing that is because sometimes you want impacts or subdrops or stuff that you wouldn't really want to be affected by reverbs or any other sort of processing because they come already pre-processed. So I want to send this sort of impact one to the all verb as well, but not by much, just a little bit to make it sound like it's part of the a part of the scene. Alex Progsnob says it's fine, you're learning. Yeah. I am. I'm trying my best. Sir Andres, don't forget to switch scenes. Cheers, mate. Thanks. Oh, we got a follow. Danish Humor has followed. Thank you. Cheers, mate. Cheers. Thank you so much. Yeah, and you can hear it already kind of doing that thing where it sounds like it's a big lumbering, I don't know, robot or whatever coming to get our protagonists. Now let's see if we can find these samples that I'm looking through right now are from the Rumor Cinematic Impacts. I found them online. Basically, they're done by HAL9K or something, and he released this pack free of cinematic sort of sound effects that he did. They're really great. Ooh, I like that Iron Sky. That Iron Sky with an anvil would be, I think. Okay, so we've got two samples I like, the Iron Sky and the Kaiju. Do we have anything that's sort of higher in timbre? Okay, so there's three sounds I like, and I would very much appreciate trying to blend them. Okay, I'm gonna get them over here. Copy files to working directory, yes. Different tracks. And we have them over here. Right, let's first sort of blend them together. I'm gonna move this track over here. Let's do processing on them, and then we'll render them in place. So we've got the Kaiju, we've got the Iron Sky, and we've got the Metallic Hiss. And the reason I'm trying to, I think I'm going to process them quite a bit is because I want them to kind of work together, and I don't want to use processing power every time I input this sample, right? And I want them to sound really sort of metallic and heavy, yeah? Because this is going to be sitting with our snare. Okay. And I'll send them all to the group effects just so that we can know what they sound like through our processing, our master bus. Oh my god! Okay. That is definitely what we want. Car crash, yeah. Definitely like that. That is definitely the sound we want. We know that, but we need to turn it down. Oh my god, my master bus was just like, what the hell are you doing, mate? Okay, let's try that again. Let's try it with just one sound and see how quiet it is. Cool. Now all three. And what we also need is an anvil in here. It'll make sense. It'll make sense. Okay. I always get funny looks from like musicians or even from my bandmates. I got them whenever I would get into this sort of sound designy mood, and I'd be like, okay, hold on. Hear me out. We need an anvil, right? Let's see if I have an anvil sample. Tree hits, anvil hits, medieval smithy. Yeah, I can use that. I can use that. Let's chop off this second hit because it seems to be a bit more aggressive. Right. It's a bit too high though for my liking, and now we'll do processing to it. Okay, so let's... I think I heard somebody drilling holes in walls. Well then. Of course. That would be just perfect if that were to happen right now while I'm bloody streaming. But you should sample those. Yeah. Yeah, I should. Right, so let's do the anvil first. So I'm gonna name these something proper so that I know exactly what I'm working with. So the impact 2. Okay, so this is gonna be sample and kaiju, sample iron sky. Without this, organization is important. Metallic hiss. And this is going to be sample anvil. And I'm going to make a separate folder down here that I'm not going to look at so that it's out of the way, where I will put all of these sample working stuff. Okay. Making a full track with only noise made by my annoying neighbor. That would be such a cool meme video to do. Okay, so let's process each of these individually. So the kaiju. Right. The kaiju sounds cool, but I'm actually thinking all of them sound pretty great, to be honest. I wouldn't really mess with them too much. I think it would be best to group them and do processing on all of them at the same time, because if we do that, it'll hopefully... Right, so this is going to be like metallic impact Terminator. Okay. Not to give away exactly what sort of sound I'm going for. Okay. Let's send all of these to the group track and let's give them a bloody color, because I can't look at them anymore like this. Color. There you go, buddy. And we're gonna name this to other stuff. Okay, so the kaiju is going into the Terminator. Okay. I wonder how this is going to like pan out for anybody who's just listening in the background and not looking, right? Like, why is he suddenly talking like or trying to talk like Arnold Schwarzenegger and talking about the Terminator and kaiju and Iron Sky? Well, what the heck is happening, right? I'm just gonna clip it over here and do a little bit over here so that I'm sure that we don't get any sort of funny business. Okay, so now all of them should be coming through into the group channel. Let's just turn that down and make sure that nothing... I wonder even, like, you could see how this would sound even if I were to just put it for example over here, because I know it might be sort of strange for anybody who's maybe newer to this, because like I'm doing all of this stuff, I'm not really explaining because I'm trying to hear something. I mean, I hear something in my head. Don't read too much into that. And I want to get to that sound, and I'd like to explain it. But the idea is that I want a huge metallic impact to go with the snare. That's the main idea. That's what we need to focus on. And yeah, you can't hear it because it's way too quiet. Okay, so we're just gonna turn these down a little bit. Just a second. And turn you down and see. Let's get a balance going. Yeah, you see what I'm going for? Like this. Ah, it's so close. It's so close. Let's get it there then. Okay. Let's solo this out and let's do some processing on it. First things first, I want this anvil to be tuned way lower, right? So we are going to go to the anvil and try our pitch shifter on it and see if that fixes it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's such a silly and dinky sound, but when you put it with all the other impacts, it sounds huge, right? And the reason for that is that all of these sort of bigger impacts have sort of atmosphere, right? And it's kind of tricking your brain that the anvil hit also has that atmosphere. I just needed to put it on the actual just need to put it on the actual hit itself. Yeah. And bear in mind that I'm doing a lot of moves without actually continuously playing the loop, which is what I would do if I were working alone. So please keep that in mind. I'm trying to not drive you crazy. Okay. Another thing we want to do is that I want to process all of these together with a bit of a compression, a bit of EQ, so that they sort of glue together, right? And what we're going to do is we are going to introduce some EQ. I'm going to use this one. Okay. Slap an OTT on that bad boy. You know what? You might not be wrong. We might be doing some OTTing. Not now, but we might be. I'm going to use the bomber. It seems appropriate, so we're going to do this. Kick drum puncher. Sure. Let's go with that. And also what I want is compression, and it's going to be slow, and it's just going to sort of emphasize the hit. And let's see what that sounds like. That sounds pretty goddamn cool, I gotta say. Let's fade it out over here. Well, if I do say so myself, that works pretty well. Okay, cool. Now that we've done that, let's select all of these and sort of render in place and see if Cubase does it properly. Render in place with current settings. Do it. It rendered all the samples, didn't it? Okay, let's undo that. We're gonna do it by hand. Fine. There might be a way of doing it easily without me actually having to go and render it separately, but hey. We also need to be careful to turn off our mastering because we don't want to export it with mastering because it's gonna go through mastering anyway. Let's see a level on that bad boy. How loud is that? That's really quiet, isn't it? Yeah, let's turn it up a bit. Right, just so that. Cool. Export audio mix down, and I'm just gonna do a quick export. Where are we? The escape. What was the year in which like the like Judgment Day happened in Terminator 2? 2019, 2023? What the heck was it? Anyway, just gonna call it Metallic Hit Skull Crusher sample. Right, and this is a way to kind of create your own samples in a way. It's not really my own samples because all I did was take samples from other packs and sort of mush them together. But at least it's a different sound, right? You can't really, or I couldn't really pick out the exact components. And I'm never gonna say that this is my own sample. I did this, haha. But I think it's cool to try as much as you can to sort of do your own stuff as much as possible. Right, and we're gonna sort of mute these and turn them off so that they do not bother us anymore. And I'm gonna duplicate impact 2. Go over here, delete this. Okay, and we're gonna import the sample. Slap an OTT on that bad boy. Oh, I really want to. I don't think it'll end well. Let's go to my folder, my project folder. Where you at? Project folder, stream, the escape. Metallic Hit Skull Crusher samples. There you go, buddy. Okay, alrighty then. And there's also a thing we need to do. We need to turn on our mastering. Right, there you go. And let's sort of duplicate these and let's see if it sounds good. Might sound like crap. We'll find out together. Okay, let's do it. I put it in the wrong spot, guys. Okay, let's do it. Oh, it's like super quiet. Okay. Okay, cool. Cool. I think the anvil needed to be quieter though. Anyway, let's see how we can make it sound even cooler. What if I send this to the... Oh, I don't have a dedicated snare reverb channel, do I? I really need to work on those drums, guys. I need to mix those drums, gosh darn it. I keep saying I have to do that, and then I just get carried away with like another bit in the song and I don't do it. But I need to mix the drums. After we finish these impacts, I'm mixing the drums, okay? You guys hold me to that, okay? You know what? I'm gonna put an OTT on it. Screw it. Let's do it. I don't even know how to use OTT, but I'm gonna do it. There's a slight problem. There's a little note over here that I think is coming from the anvil. Something went a bit awry in there. Let's see if this fixes it. It's a little bit delayed, isn't it? Let's just move it up a bit. Yeah, we need to do some cleanup work on this sample. It's not gelling nicely with the snare. So Andre is asking, have you seen Community? You keep saying cool, just like Abbott. Yeah, I love Community. I think I saw it, I saw most of it. I think the last or second to last season, that's where I kind of fell off a little bit. But yeah, I love Community. It's awesome. Let's take out some of those annoying frequencies, shall we? I mean, I think OTT is doing a cool job. Let's see without it, though. There's something in there that's messing things up for me. I don't know what it is, but let's see if we can find it. There's like a little sort of tiny spiky attacky thingy happening over there. And now I have to torture you with the same loop. Sorry. Let's see if we can find that thing. Okay. It's weird because like the first impact, the bass drum impact, seems to have more perceived loudness than the snare impact, so I need to turn the snare impact louder a little bit. It seems to be balanced out now. Not perfect, not great, we'll come back to it. But the idea is there. The idea is sound, it works, but it just needs a little more finessing to gel with the drums. And I need to make the drums like stronger, because when these impacts come in, since they're already processed and sort of really hyper and aggressive, they kind of drown out the drums, and that's the issue. We need the drums and the impacts to sit at the same level. That's what we want to do, right? Okay. Let's see how it comes in from the rest. Okay, cool. Now, I want to put in like a little break, a little sort of snare break over here. Let's see. Okay, sometimes I need to sort of hum out the break or something or an idea, because I want to see if I like it's hard for me to put into words sometimes the sort of the musical idea that I have in my head. I can hear it in my head and I need to sort of say it out loud so that my brain understands what to tell, so that my brain understands what to tell my hands to do. There we go. I seriously need more coffee, guys. You know what? Let's out Iridian Seeker right now, because you see the reason why I'm a bit tired is because Iridian Seeker had me at like 2 a.m. writing her drum and bass track, right? At 3 in the morning. So I'm a tad tired, and I woke up this morning and she asked me to I continued to work on the song and I finished it. And you're welcome for that. Yeah, cheers, Iridian Seeker. Actually, Iridian Seeker, drop your video in the link. The reason we were sort of hustling so much was because she really wanted to get her first time-lapse video out, right? So drop a link, Iridian Seeker, to your stuff on YouTube so that like people can check it out after the stream or something if they like. Iridian Seeker is a super talented artist, and she does all my visual stuff and all of our band's visual stuff, really, back when we had a band. And yeah, she started to do the whole YouTube thing, and I'm trying to coax her to do the streaming stuff. Yeah, so we might do that. Let's see. Let's go back to it then. Alrighty then. What were we doing? We were doing that break. Okay, and I'd like to bring in the crashes again. So this is our halfway point, is it not? 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got a break there, and let's bring in the crashes again. Just, I want to be more mindful of adding tiny breaks and fills and things to kind of add variance as we go. Usually I leave that stuff to the end because I can have a sort of clearer overview of the song, but I'm gonna try to do it while we are going here as well. Cheers, Iridian Seeker. Alrighty then. Cool. Let's see what else we can do here. So we've got an atmosphere, we've got like the oppressive sort of walking stuff going, but what is happening in this bit? We've got the brass, then we've got this sort of section where everything kind of chills out and settles into this sort of rhythm. Do we repeat it 1/3 time and add stuff? I think not, actually. I think I want to go to a different section. And then we can bring this back with like the full brass and the sound effects and everything sort of crashing, okay? But before I go to the next section, I need to do one thing, guys, and that is mix the bloody drums. Let's do this. Okay, so here's how I basically go about mixing the drums. I did already some processing on the... Oh, cheers, Alex. Cheers. Have a great one, mate. This will be available on YouTube and on the Twitch thing if you want to watch it later. And thank you so much for stopping by. Cheers. All right. Love you, boy. Okay. Let's see. Let's do the Lin. Okay. So I did already some processing over here, as you can see. But it's not really doing the thing I wanted to do. So we're gonna start off by doing some grouping. We want to do 2 mono groups, and the reason why we're doing this is because we want our snares and our kicks to be mono. We want them to be mono because we want them to sit straight down the middle with no funny business. That way they'll be a lot clearer when you're listening on a laptop speakers or a phone speakers or stuff like that, yeah? Kick some. Kick some what? Kick some snare some. All right. And we're gonna sort of deactivate all of these. I don't like the processing I did on them anyway. I mean, it sounded okay-ish last week, but this week I hate it. I want a more aggressive drum sound. And I also need to route these properly. Right, so our kick sum is gonna go to our drums. Wait, it's gonna go to our percussion. Sorry. And the Lin drum, the kick drum, all of these kick drums will go to our kick sum. Okay, and then our snare sum is going to go to our percussion. And all of these snares are going to go into our snare sum. Okay, cool. So we've got a balance going. Theoretically, this should... And now you can hear like the raw drum sounds. This is why we process things in the music world, because that doesn't sound great. Okay, let's do our kick first. Okay, there's another thing we need to do, and that is sort of our kick and our snare shouldn't be sending that much to the sort of generic reverb channel over here. But what happens if I want more reverb, you might ask? Well, if I want more reverb... Yeah, we're not going to send it from our sort of full percussion channel. We are going to send it separately from our individual percussion channels. I don't think we're going to have super complicated percussion on this song. You know, like the cinematic sort of... percussion that you hear in movie trailers and stuff. We might do it. I still don't have a library for that though. Been looking for some, but I haven't found any that I could use so far. Let's see. So the kick sum, and the kick sum needs to send to the reverb, but it just needs to send a tiny amount, not that much. So to the all verb, there you go, buddy. Just put a little bit in there. Okay, cool. And now let's do the actual processing on it. So we're gonna go and first of all, we're gonna do some EQ, and I use the sort of frequency over here, which is like a Pro Q or any sort of graphical equalizer software, because I like to be more precise with my cuts, right? And to be more clear with my cuts. I don't want anything to sort of I don't want any other processing to go along with the EQ that I'm doing when I'm doing cuts, right? I want it really, really clean. Right. Now, I really do aggressive cuts, like aggressive sculpting on my kick, but I know this bites me in the butt later because it's gonna sound too weak, but maybe we can deal with it with some distortion. Right, and let's take some extreme high end out that we're not gonna need. Yeah, and you can take out as much as you like as long as you're not changing too much the character of the kick. Right, and when I want to add EQ, I usually go for my FGN. Here you go. There you go. And I just smack the high end like totally 100% because it adds such a pleasant high end character to anything you feed it through, because it's modeling like analog software, so it's sort of adds distortion and artifacts and all of that good stuff. Another thing we want to do is we want to compress this kick. Right. Just a little bit to accentuate the hit of it. Okay, and then we want to sort of use the monster to give it some more body. I'm gonna go with big kick. Yeah, that's some serious low end right there. We need to be mindful of that and be very, very careful. Yeah, so be sure whenever you're sort of adding stuff that you're taking away the stuff that is really not needed. Right, like this information over here that you can't really even hear if I were to solo it out. Okay, and what else do we need for this kick? We need parallel distortion is what we need for this kick in order to fatten it up. And we're gonna... What are we going to use for that? Let's try the preamps again. So the... let's try the London. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the tube distortion. That's the reverb happening over here. Let's put in some pre-delay a little bit to make some space for it, and let's take the kick. Let's take more of the kick out of it because it's way too much. Where are you, my kick? Yeah, let's clean that up. Okay, cool. Percussion is really low in volume. No wonder we can barely hear the bloody drums. Where are you? Let's turn that up. Let's get our drums nice and loud. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, of course we're gonna turn it down a notch. It's too much, but yeah, that's more like it. Okay, for our snare sum, I still feel like we're gonna need to add in another kick in here. It's just so dinky, like this kick. I mean, it sounds okay when you solo it, but see, it doesn't have like a lot of body. It's not very well rounded out. But we're gonna deal with that later, after I finish up the snare as well, because I cannot stand this snare anymore. And we're gonna basically do more or less the same processing that we did for the kick, but we're gonna copy these over, and we're just gonna change a few parameters, and we're gonna send this to the all reverb as well. But we're gonna send more than the kick, but we're not going to send that much because we're going to create a separate reverb channel for the snare, because it's synthwave, and if you don't have like a huge snare reverb, why are you doing it, right? Okay, let's clean up. Let's do some cleanup work. So what I want to do is I want to move these over here so that they don't bother me, and let's just solo out the snare. I'd like to hear each individual. I think I need to rebalance these snares so the Linn drum can go actually lower in volume. We can bring up the EDM snare a little bit. I think we're boosting too much high end. I think we are. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so what I'm doing it for is I'm trying to find the high-end, the proper sort of high-end frequencies that are pleasant to listen to when you're hearing a snare. And I'm also cutting out some of the extraneous low end over here, and you'll see me doing this here as well. I think I cut off too much low end over here, so we're just gonna bump that back down a little bit. Okay, and I know it feels a bit dry. The snare feels a bit dry, so let's try to put in some reverb and see if that fixes it. I'm still not 100% happy with the way the snare is sounding, but we'll get to it, won't we? We'll get there. Get there, city. So this needs to go into the percussion, and we're gonna add it over here, and let's give it some color. And this is gonna be our snare verb. We're gonna take it down a notch over here. And what else are we going to do? We are going to send the snare sum to the snare verb. Snare verb. And we're gonna send all of it there. And we're gonna go over here, and there's actually a cool preset, drums, and it's snare space. I think this is the one. There you go. There you go. turn it down, yeah, a little bit. I think we can actually open up the gate a little bit on this reverb. I think it's not enough, really. So the decay is 379 milliseconds. Now, one of the things that I like to do is sort of match the decay of the reverb to the tempo of my drums, right? The tempo of my song, really. So we know that our snares are basically going to come in over here, and they're only going to need to last up until here. So you can see down here that it's, can you? Yeah, you should be able to see that. You see we're at 58 seconds and 736 milliseconds. If we go over here, we're at 59 seconds and 900 milliseconds, which tells me that I can get away with something around... we need to make it shorter because it's gated. So from here to here, we've got 600 milliseconds. So if I just adjust that to something around 300, it's going to be too short. So I need to make it actually longer. So it's the FG16X non-linear. FG16X non-linear. And we have a longer one. Yeah, we've got this long one. That's as much as we get. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so let's take the long one then, and let's see how that fares. Yeah, that works. That works. There's also another thing that we could do. Usually you could get away with processing the snare verb along with the snare itself, and you could get some interesting results. We won't try that out right now because I'm fairly happy with the way the snare sounds right now. I'll probably hate it in an hour, but we'll get there. So this is how our drums sound now. And now we just need to make sure that we kind of match the intensity and volumes between the kick and the snare themselves. So we're going to solo the drums and make sure that they're sounding pretty gelled together. Where's my snare verb going, and why is it not going to the percussion? It's going to the percussion. Then why do you not solo it? There you go. There you go. Okay, and you can hear that there's a little bit of too much low end on that kick. We need to clean it up a bit more. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our multi-band compressor and sort of clamp down on those extreme lows, right? Bit better. We want some of that thump, but we don't want too much, because that way it'll just be too much and everything will go wrong. Let's go back to our frequency and let's clean up. We're probably adding, it's because we're adding a lot of low end on the master bus. So whenever you're mixing, you just need to be aware of all the decisions you made up until that point and all the decisions you're gonna make, because everything is sort of interrelated, right? Our kick we made it super bassy. So when it's going through the signal chain to our master chain, to our master bus, that's adding bass as well. So it just builds up and builds up and builds up, and you end up with too much bass. And too much bass is awesome, but it doesn't sound very good when you're trying to mix. Oh. Okay. I think that's gonna be okay for now, for YouTube at least, and I'll stop the recording and I'll restart Cubase because it's doing a funny little thing it likes to do when it wants to mess with me, and I think you can hear that the sound is kind of dropping out in and out a little bit. So we're gonna do that. Cheers, thanks for watching on YouTube, and I'll be right back with the after I've restarted Cubase. Just a sec.